Coming up on UCF Nightly News. Learn how Mia Marcano's family is advocating for women's safety.
And how residents are working with a local attorney to pass Mia's law.
And how one UCF graduate college is getting rid of standardized testing.
Nightly News starts now.
Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I am Aidari, Rivera.
And I'm Phillip Wright. Today is Friday, October 8th, 2021.
Ardenville's residents are coming together to protest for their safety. Due to the recent news surrounding Mia Marcano, residents held a protest on Wednesday outside the villa's gates. Nightly News reporter Carla Manuel tells us more.
Residents of the Arden Villas have had enough and are demanding that management take responsibility for the safety of its residents and workers. Many residents were seen standing outside the Arden Villa gates in protest Wednesday evening. Protesters are demanding answers and actions to make their community safer. Julia Vega, a resident, says residents have filed complaints in the past about the maintenance workers' invasion of privacy.
There's been numerous complaints filed. We have evidence of people filing complaints long before I lived here, and we've compiled those and have been keeping record.
With many signs labeled #JusticeForMia, protesters continue to make signs to express their frustrations and share their support for Marcano's family. Not only are residents asking for stricter safety protocols, but they are also asking management to take their complaints about staff seriously and take action immediately. Anika Forkant, a protester, says that Arden Village should strengthen its background checks on employees and enforce more safety protocols.
She filed a complaint multiple times. Y'all still let the man keep his job. So because he kept his job, she lost her life. And now y'all still have no cameras, no lights, there's no Mia. Y'all still...
As residents continue to mourn the loss of Mia Marcano, they say they will not rest until changes are made to prevent another tragedy. In Orlando, Carla Manuel, UCF Nightly News.
For those interested in supporting the Arden Villas residents, you can visit their Twitter and Instagram at MakeArdenSafe.
In light of the recent discovery of Mia Marcano's body, UCF CAP Services wants to make sure students know how to cope with grief. The Counseling and Psychological Services aid students that are battling various mental health issues. Among these mental health issues is how to cope with grief. In this case, the grief of losing a loved one. UCF CAP's Assistant Director of Outreach and Prevention Services, Vanessa Stein, says the best way to overcome grief is to confront it straight on.
The grief will stay if they keep pushing it away, right? So you have to sit with the grief and you have to have the emotions and kind of live through them. Allow yourself to feel them.
Stein says journaling, art, and painting are good ways to cope with grief and control emotions. She says grief affects everyone differently, and for some it may never go away. Students seeking mental health can visit UCF CAPS on campus to learn more.
According to UN Women Nations, women can experience violence early in their teenage years. One family member of Mia Marcano is concerned for women's safety. Nightly News reporter Christy Sultan spoke with Mia's uncle to find out more.
Mia Marcano's uncle, Mark Marcano, worries that other women may find themselves in the same situation as Mia.
I just feel bad that Mia felt like she was by herself at that moment and no one was there, right? Because if no one actually heard anything, no one sees anything, you know, and everyone gets quiet all of a sudden, and it's like, hey, if we were outside arguing, you would hear something, right?
The CDC says 1 out of 4 women are victims of violence. Over 730 million women are victims of violence globally. Tina Nguyen works at UCF's Counseling and Psychological Services as a therapist. She says there are different ways people can become abusers.
Or sometimes it could be impulsive behaviors, or like that could be influenced by drugs or alcohol.
Mark Marcano says he wants women to walk in pairs of 2 and to go to the police.
You wonder how safe is anyone, right? If you're not safe at your job and at your own home, what else could we do, you know?
Marcano hopes to help people by sharing Mia's story. In Orlando, Christy Sultan, UCF Nightly News.
UCF has victim services available that you can visit in person or call their 24-hour hotline at 407-231-200. In response to Marcano's case, students living on campus and other nearby housing want to make a change. The new proposed Mia Marcano law would change property management and landlord regulation when it comes to maintenance orders. If it passes, any repairs would need a previous appointment in order for maintenance employees to access an apartment. Mia Marcano's family attorney Daryl Washington says that this law would benefit students who are now living with a new fear.
These apartment complexes are entrusting individuals with key fobs to enter apartments, knowing that many of these individuals have criminal records.
Caribbean Student Association encourages students to testify about similar experiences at their apartment complexes.
Since the Gabby Petito case, more missing people cases want to claim equal attention. Missing white woman syndrome is being used to describe the disproportionate media coverage on missing people. A 2016 study found that missing white people get a quicker response from news outlets than any other minority. Since Petito's case, other missing people of color cases have resurfaced. UCF professor Sergeant Kent Butler says people need more minorities in the newsrooms to represent them.
You have all these people who are sitting in the newsroom or in the boardrooms or whatever have you, who are making decisions about people who they don't represent.
According to the National Missing and Unidentified Persons Database, the number of missing person cases among each minorities outweigh their respective populations as of this year.
UCF has joined a new national consortium with the goal to increase the number of Latinx students pursuing advanced degrees. The consortium is a collection of Hispanic survey institutions with high research activity. A three-year, $5 million grant was recently awarded to the consortium. Director of HSI, Cynthia Muñiz, says the funding supports the pursuit of higher education.
To strengthen our pipeline of Latinx talent, right? So we want more Latino students to go to graduate school, ultimately get a PhD and become professors.
Muñiz says HSI will continue to advocate on UCF behalf for opportunities that support the Latinx community. The consortium consists of 16 other universities across the country, and grants from the partnership begin this month.
The Sociology Department has changed its graduate program admission requirements. Starting in 2022, the GRE will no longer be required to apply to sociology's MA and PhD programs. Now, the news reporter Kelly Gilmore tells us why this change has occurred and what it means to applicants.
UCF students like Melissa Suarez applying to graduate school can be stressful. The GRE is known to be one of those common stressors, and for Suarez, it has left her uncertain about her graduate school applications.
I've not taken a standardized test in over 4 years, and I haven't done math in a long time, so I'm scared that those scores will not reflect who I am as a student.
Suarez says she has a 3.8 GPA, but is worried her academic ability won't reflect in her score. Her concerns, like many students, are valid. According to a case study published in American Psychologist, GRE scores were only somewhat useful in predicting graduate student grades and of little to no use in predicting other aspects of performance. UCF's Department of Sociology has taken notice to this reality. The department recently announced that starting in 2022, the GRE will not be required to apply to the sociology, MA, and PhD programs at UCF. Dr. Timothy Hawthorne, graduate director of the Sociology Department, says that they are taking a new approach to their applications.
We recognized first and foremost that admission should be based on more of a holistic kind of mindset, and recognizing that standardized test scores are not necessarily the best predictor or indicator of one's success.
While the Sociology Department has chosen to leave the GRE behind, many other graduate programs here at UCF still require it. In Orlando, Kelly Gilmore, UCF Nightly News.
For more information on which graduate programs require the GRE to apply, applicants can visit graduate.ucf.edu. Which reminds me, I have some plans later tonight. Clara, tell us how the weather's looking for today.
Well, Phillip, I would definitely cancel whatever you have for later today. It is going to be a warm day, but with lots of showers. We're currently at 87 degrees and we have a humidity of 63%. Winds are going west to northwest at 7 miles per hour, but there is a 51% chance of rain, so I would definitely not go out today. Back to you guys.
When we come back, find out what's all the buzz on campus.
Plus, learn more about a new group of Little Singing Knights.
You're gonna love this. UCF is helping the buzziest residents on campus have a place to call home. Nightly News reporter Kirk Churchill tells us how UCF is helping our little friends on campus.
With a decline of bee populations in urban settings, UCF is doing its part to help out our little insect friends. UCF is considered a bee campus, and it's a part of a larger group dedicated to making college campuses a better place for pollinators. Dr. Patrick Bolin, director of UCF's Bee Campus Initiative, says it's important to act now because the bees may be at risk.
And just now, if you were to search online right now for the American bumblebee, you would find out that the Fish and Wildlife Service is actually considering listing them as a threatened or endangered species. And they used to be one of the most widespread bumblebees in the eastern United States.
UCF is also focusing on the bees having a home in an urban environment here on campus with the use of these pollinator gardens.
Bees play an important role in crop pollination, and because of that, UCF attracts pollinators with the use of gardens on campus. These pollinator gardens are filled with nectar-producing plants to attract bees. Arboretum staff Ethan Hudson says these gardens help ensure the bees are here to stay.
And we want to create a space, a lounge almost, where pollinators can escape from all the infrastructure and have a place to pollinate and do what they're supposed to do.
Arboretum staff also says if we all work together, we can ensure the bees always have a sweet home to go to. In Orlando, I'm Kirk Churchill, UCF Nightly News.
For more information on how to volunteer with the Arboretum, you can visit arboretum.ucf.edu.
The UCF Choir program added 2 new choirs to this semester. One of them is the UCF Children Choir, and it welcomes kids from 1st to 5th grade. Nightly News reporter Zoemar Lebron tells us more about kids and about the choir.
The UCF Choir now has a group of Little Singing Knights. The newly established choir not only provides opportunities for children, but for UCF music students as well. Some music education students are volunteering with the choir. Leslie Flasser-Stein is a freshman music education major, and she says volunteering has inspired her to work with elementary kids in the future.
It gives me a lot of teaching experience, and I originally thought that I would never do elementary, and now I'm definitely considering it. They are so precious.
Casey Stevens is a freshman music education major who is also volunteering with the kids choir. This was her first time volunteering, and she said she loved the experience.
I absolutely love and adore this. Honestly, it's like the first day being here. It was a lot of fun, and the kids are just super sweet, and it's a good environment to be around.
The children's choir provides opportunities in 2 choirs for students from 1st to 5th grade. There is no audition requirement, and all skill levels are welcome to join. Flasser-Stein says most of the kids are from 3 primary schools in the area.
I am here at the UCF Music Building with the UCF Children's Choir. Kids from 1st to 5th grade are invited to join in on the fun every Monday from 5:45 to 6:45.
The children are divided into 2 choirs, the Pegasus Choir, 1st to 2nd grade, and the Knights Choir, 3rd to 5th grade. Flasser-Stein said the kids learn the same concepts, but in different ways.
We basically teach about the same level of stuff. It's just we go at different rates, and depending upon how well the students are obtaining it.
The children's choir will have their first performance at the UCF Choir Holiday Concert. Stay tuned for more information. In Orlando, Zoemar, Lebron, UCF Nightly News.
For more information on how to join or register kids, visit the UCF Performing Arts website, performingart.ucf.edu. Coming up, stay tuned for your weather update.
Plus, find out how space tourism is expected to skyrocket this year.
Space tourism is making a comeback for the following pandemic. According to the Space Coast Office of Tourism in Rivera County, the industry is set to collect more than $16 million tax dollars for 2020 to 2021. UCF's president of the Student for the Exploration and Development of Space, Cormac Kroll, says it's because of different companies willing to collaborate.
Obviously, probably a big stepping stone into space tourism in terms of, NASA itself is willing to work with private contractors like SpaceX, Boeing, ULA.
As a result, the Space Coast office is running a fall marketing campaign that will run to the end of December. Blue Origin has just scheduled its next space tourism flight for October 12th. So far, the company announced 2 of the 4 astronauts. The New Shepard rocket is set to lift off from western Texas.
We just heard about space, but let's bring it back down to Earth. Clara, how's the weather looking for the rest of this week?
It looks about the same as today. The highs are pretty good today. In Tallahassee, we have 82 degrees. In Jacksonville, we have 84 degrees. In Tampa, 84. And in Orlando, 86. Miami as well has 86 on the highs. The lows, still pretty good. They are 70 degrees in Tallahassee, 70 degrees in Jacksonville. Tampa is 75 degrees. Here in Orlando is 73 degrees. And Miami, 77 degrees. But it looks like it's going to be a rainy weekend. 80% of rain in Tallahassee. Jacksonville has 100% chance of rain. Tampa has 80% chance of rain. Here in Orlando, 51%. And it looks like Miami is the only one avoiding the rain this weekend with 0% chance of rain. For the 5-day forecast, it looks pretty much the same across the board. Saturday is going to be a high of 87 degrees with a low of 70 degrees, but a 50% chance of rain. On Sunday, it's going to be 86 degrees with a low of 69 and 40% chance of rain. On Monday, it's going to be 87 degrees with a low of 70 degrees and 30% chance of rain. On Tuesday, it's going to be 88 degrees with a low of 71 and 30% chance of rain. On Wednesday, it's going to be 88 degrees with 72% chance of rain, with 72 on the lows and 30% chance of rain. Doesn't look good for the weekend, and we might have another weather delay for the football game tomorrow. Back to you guys.
Coming up in sports, find out how the men's soccer team will make a comeback after getting their winning streak snapped.
Also, hear from head coach Malzahn how the Knights will attack ECU's running game. Stay tuned.
Hey Knight fans, I'm Taylor Anderson and this is your UCF Sports Update. Women's volleyball looks to extend their 7-game winning streak as they take on the Houston Cougars tonight. The Lady Knights will be back home after traveling this past weekend where they defeated Wichita State and Tulsa. This will be the first time the teams play each other since the 2019 season, which the Knights won 3-0. The game start time is at 7 p.m. this evening. The game will be at the venue at UCF. Nightly News will keep you updated with what happens on the court. UCF women's soccer lost in a heartbreaker last night against USF. The Bulls would strike first off a shot from Lucy Roberts in the 23rd minute. In the 35th minute, senior striker Deanna Martin scored the equalizing goal for the Knights. After a 1-1 tie at halftime, both teams would go scoreless for the entire second half and the first overtime period. The winning goal came in double OT from Emily Lamorini in the 109th minute, giving the Bulls the 2-1 victory. UCF falls to 0-3-1 in conference play this season. The Knights will be back in action this Sunday on ESPN Plus against Tulsa at 1 p.m. Men's soccer focuses in on Tulsa after the Memphis Tigers broke their winning streak this past Sunday. The Knights lost 3-0, suffering their first AAC matchup of the 2021 season. The Knights' focus now shifts to the Golden Hurricanes as they will take on the number 6 ranked team this weekend. The last time the teams met, UCF won with a score of 1-0. The battle of the two will kick off at the UCF Soccer and Track Complex Sunday at 6 p.m. The Knights will charge on against East Carolina University tomorrow after their upset loss to Navy last Saturday. Down multiple starting players, including quarterback Dylan Gabriel due to injuries, the Knights suffered their second loss of the season. Now looking forward to the ECU Pirates, the Knights will have to make improvements offensively, defensively, and on special teams. Head coach Gus Malzahn said the team will have to be ready for ECU's running back, Keaton Mitchell.
And he's a one-play drive type running back. I mean, he can take it to the house anywhere on the field. We're going to have to do a good job containing him.
UCF's opponents have averaged 665 rushing yards so far this season. The defense will have to rely on big-time players to stop the Pirates' run game. Can't wait for another great week of UCF sports. Aidari and Phillip, back to you guys.
And that's all our time for right now. Thanks for joining us.
And if you got a story idea, send it our way. Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your day.